Introducing blockchain Brighter Tomorrow. At Brighter Tomorrow, we are a non-government organization striving to fundraise money for the homeless as well as provide them with employment. We currently have one location located in Victoria, British Columbia that consists of 45 employees. This company was founded by Bradley, Omar, Yakub, and Kishal. When we started this company, the image of charities had been tainted as there were numerous cases of charities committing fraud. We needed a way to ensure the security of our donations and transactions and to rebuild the image of nonprofit organizations. So we decided to implement blockchain. What is blockchain? Well, it's a specific type of database. Blockchain is a spread out ledger or database technology. This technology does not need a master computer to check the transactions on a network. Companies can use this technology to quickly collect and store transactions in this database. What does it do? Well, it records and stores the collected information and even transactions. Our company uses this technology to record the transactions of donors and to make these transactions secure so no one can infiltrate and steal the donations. The use of blockchain decreases administration expenses, which allow more money to be given to the underprivileged. Blockchain can also create more trust between the benefactor, investors, and receivers, as this technology can provide a receipt to prove the transaction and prove the need of donations. Blockchain eliminates the cost for marketing and spreading awareness, as this technology can market our charity and spread the word of our goal. Now you might be thinking, blockchain sounds like a database. However, these two are quite different. Blockchain is different from a database, as blockchain is a specific type of database. The storage structure of the blockchain is the main difference between the two. In blockchain, it uses blocks to store information that's collected and is grouped together. Once the information is stored in a block, it is then connected by a chain to the previous block of information to create a blockchain. So I guess you could say not every database can be considered as a blockchain, but all blockchains are classified as a database. Now let's look in more details at how blockchain works. This process starts with a transaction, in our case, a donation, that is received and recorded. Then it is transmitted to a network of computers that are peer-to-peer. The transaction is then checked for validity by the network of computers. Once the transaction is validated, the block is then put away. The block is then put in a group with other block transactions. After being grouped, these blocks get connected by chains. This chain is a permanent record of the transactions. Finally, the process comes to an end and the donation is finished.
Blockchain. What makes blockchain unique? Firstly, the decentralization. Everyone's equally involved in the chain. It's not like a traditional server-client system where all the data is stored only in one server and everyone has to access it from there. Secondly, the transparency. Every single transaction that's made can be viewed by anyone. Because blockchain has an open ledger, the data is stored in every single block, so it can be viewed from anywhere. The immutability, right? You can't alter the data later on after entering it into the system. As it's present on every single block, so you'd have to somehow simultaneously alter it everywhere. The consensus algorithms. Blockchain doesn't need a third party to validate data coming in. It uses algorithms, and more than half of the blocks agree to something that it can join. Increased computing power. It uses many different computers working together. Every single block is its own computer, so they all work together. And a peer-to-peer network, the transactions take place directly from the sender to the receiver with no middleman. The advantages of blockchain and the drawbacks. So the advantages include the fact that decentralization, it results in greater user control over their own properties, and it makes the system more tolerant to issues. If one part goes down, the rest are still up. An open ledger forces everyone to be more transparent and held accountable for your dealings, as everyone can view them. Decentralization and immutability allow corporations to better identify any issues, especially in supply chains, and see where they're occurring exactly to fix them. And finally, the immutability makes it incredibly secure against any hackers or embezzlement. The drawbacks include the fact that consensus algorithms, if a person has more than half of the nodes in a system, more than half of the blocks, they can take over the entire system. as they can force any data to be accepted. Blockchain networks, if they grow too large, they can run into congestion and efficiency issues. Every single node has to store all the data, so you could have storage issues. And finally, if a person loses their private key, which they use to enter their personal block, then there's no recourse to getting that back. The alternatives of blockchain in the future. So alternatives include the traditional centralized databases, all the data stored on a single server, everyone accesses it from there, data can be changed from there. And cloud storage, which is all the data stored on a remote server, usually a subscription-based service. The future of blockchain, it's growing rapidly currently, mainly due to security features and lower costs and efficiency. It's recently started being offered as a service on subscription-based deals. And finally, nearly all of Deloitte's respondents said that whatever they were currently spending on blockchain, they plan to keep it the same or increase it.
As a nonprofit charitable organization, we do face a couple issues here at Better Tomorrow. One of those issues being our charity facing a decline in donations amongst youngsters and just the general public who do donate in general, due to concerns of where these donations are being deposited. There are many corrupt organizations that take the money for their own self-greed and keep it to themselves rather than donating it to where it's supposed to be going. And because of this, the public is afraid to trust the word of charities. Frequently, we see the most vulnerable and needy people miss out, and that is not what we want to be seeing. But the public is no longer willing to take the charity's word as a bond of trust because of how much this problem has been ongoing and how many times people have seen their money go elsewhere rather than where it's supposed to be going. And this is where we want to bring in blockchain technology into Brighter Tomorrow. Blockchain technology could help resurrect the images of charities, and we can do this by minimizing administrative costs. So through the automation, so there isn't much manual work to do. Everything is kind of automated, and also donors are allowed access to view information anytime from any device to see more clearly where their funds are going. This way they kind of know exactly what's happening with their money, and they know they have like proof of receipt, so they know that their money is going where it's intended to go. Blockchain may help restore some of the credibility of charities, and this will also help build trust between donors, recipients, and other stakeholders within the organization. It kind of provides a transparency and accountability by making financial information available to donors. So not just their information, but they can also view information about money being donated from other donors and making sure that all the money is kind of going towards where it's intended to go. This technology provides proof of donations and ensures the funds reach the intended destination. And by doing so, we kind of make sure that we attract more attention towards our charities. People know that they're actually helping rather than fearing that their money is not being deposited where it should be going. And this is why blockchain should be a go-to technology for any nonprofit organization that is trying to get people to trust them, to donate as much money as possible to help the needy who really do need it.
There are many impacts that are in connection with using blockchain. It can be benefit to our companies in many different ways. Greater security and safety. Blockchain technology is more reliable because every transaction is encrypted and information is processed throughout multiple different services systems, making it far difficult to hack. Much more transparency. Blockchain technology helps make all transaction histories even more clear. Although everyone can see each transaction, they cannot be modified without the whole network improving. Cost reduction on companies. Usually, as delays are made or transactions are submitted, third parties will be expected to make sure they are valid, but with blockchain, you will be no need. Ensure efficiency and automations. However, using blockchain's technologies can help create smart contracts that can minimize delays, ensuring accuracy and ensure that both sides are satisfied and have complete access to all transactions. Providing insights. Blockchain technologies ensures a delayed ledger that can improve recording speeds, validity, and access. Impacts on firms using blockchain. Blockchain has an environmental cost. It relies on encryptive to provide its security, which requires a large amount of computing power, which can damage our environment. Its complexity. It takes a while to understand how blockchain is run. It is a very complex system, which only an expert can understand. Blockchains can also be very slow. Due to their complexity on their encryptive distribution nature, blockchain transfer will take some time to process. Impossible to make changes. Due to blockchains being so secure, it is really hard to make small unnecessary changes. Due to every transaction being encrypted and information being processed in several separate places across different services systems, making it far difficult to make changes. Impacts on consumers, society, workers, etc. using blockchain. Available to track. With blockchain, you're able to trace a transaction every step of the way, so you can see where and how it got there, just like the Amazon package tracing system. Financial institution. Most large transactions require some source of protection, such as a bank records or a credit source. This method makes it much better for vendors, but it excludes people who do not use a bank. Blockchain may be an assistance to all sides. Gaining knowledge. People also have the opportunity to learn further about blockchain through their own time. These are my references. Thank you.